What up, Space Fam? Goes in here from AnimeUproar, and I'm back at it again to discuss the latest in one of the final chapters of the Attack on Titan manga. We've been told that the manga will end in April, which means we are pretty much at the end of the story. That should mean only 3 chapters left after this one. Every chapter really counts right now, so make sure to stay tuned for this insane one. If you do enjoy seeing these Attack on Titan reviews and want to keep them coming, then the best thing you could do is Warhammer, smash that like button, and share this video with any Attack on Titan fans that you know. If you haven't, be sure to subscribe, and this is crucial. Hit that notification bell and select all, or you will miss future Attack on Titan videos. And while you wait for the next insane chapter to drop, feel free to check out our growing Attack on Titan playlist, where we got videos about all the Titan shifters and their powers, all the Acromans and their powers, the Titans ranked from weakest to strongest, and much more. Link to that is in the description. Now, without further ado, let's jump into it, spoilers and all. So this chapter 136, is called Devote Your Hearts. Last chapter, we finally got the long-awaited appearance of the Flying Titan in the form of Falco's Jaw Titan. They left for the time being Peak on Eren's Titan and Armin on Eren's Titan as well. As you'll remember, they had to get out of there because Eren's giant skeletal Titan was being overrun by countless past Titan shifters that Eren and Ymir were summoning and controlling. There were Beast Titans, Warhammer Titans, and all the other ones too. Right now, they're dealing with unwinnable conditions against Eren, and I feel like if they win, it will only be because Eren willed it, so that they can come off as the heroes who saved the world from the ultimate devil Eren Yeager. That way his friends will no longer be treated as devils who need to be eradicated, but as heroes of the world. As I mentioned before, if Eren really wanted to win with the founding Titan power, he should be able to control the other Titan shifters like Reiner's Armored Titan or the Flying Titan and so on. But he purposely decided not to do that, so clearly his goal is not to win at all costs. And that makes sense because according to him, he's doing this for the people who bore and raised him, the people of Paradise Island. And it's mostly these people, including Jean, Connie, Levi, Armin, and Mikasa, who are trying to stop him now. If he killed them, that would defeat the purpose of what he's doing. On the Flying Titan, Reiner is not too happy to see Gabby, his little cousin, who he wanted to protect and keep safe. Now she's in the most dangerous place in the world. They explained that the Azumabito ship did indeed sink from Falco's Flying Titan transformation. Kiyomi did have small backup boats, so she and the others are safe. But Gabby wants to pay Kiyomi's kindness back by stopping the rumbling. I'd like to know how you guys feel about Gabby right now. She was a pretty hated character in the beginning, and I'm wondering if anyone's changed their minds about her. She did a lot of horrible things, no doubt, but you gotta admit she's a much less brainwashed person than she was then, and she acts a lot less arrogant and cocky than she did before. Reiner asks Falco if he remembers his promise to keep Gabby safe, and Falco thinks to himself of course he does. He's still committed to saving Gabby from the dark future they face. At this point, it seems likely that Eren won't make it out of this series alive. After all he's done, it's hard to believe that he'll go back to a carefree life. But it is more likely that the following generation, Gabby and Falco, will be able to live in peace. And you might think that Falco's time is limited because of Ymir's curse, but not necessarily. As we'll get to in this chapter, the spine-like creature that gave Ymir Fritz Titan powers is brought up here. They know about that creature and are probably prepared to target that creature when Eren's head gets detached. Now, if they do manage to destroy it, it is possible that Titan powers will cease to exist, and those with the powers will no longer be affected by Ymir's curse. So Armin, Falco, and maybe others will get a less depressing ending. We shall see, but I can totally see something like that happening. That way Eldians get to live on and reproduce, and at the same time the threat of Titans ceases to exist. I'm definitely appreciating Annie and Armin's developing romance. She's clearly concerned about Armin, but she doesn't want to make it super clear to the others. She's a warrior, so she should have asked about Peak first, but she actually found herself worrying about Armin first. A cute moment in the middle of all this insanity. At this point, I can definitely see these two having a happier ending than Eren and Mikasa. Before Annie promises to save Armin, she says something pretty hilarious. She tells Mikasa that her childhood friends love getting kidnapped. It's easy to think back to Eren getting kidnapped by Reiner and Bertolt and other parts too, and now Armin getting kidnapped again. A funny little detail, and I enjoyed it a lot. It shows that these characters do have a lot of history together, and even when things look horrible in life, you gotta be able to crack some jokes, and Isayama gets that. In fact, sometimes the less funny a situation is, the funnier the jokes can end up being. Levi makes the decision to go back. One group will save Armin, the other will attack Eren's nape that has been surrounded with explosives thanks to Peak. Here we have a really serious moment where Levi says they can no longer concern themselves with Eren's safety. In fact, they never had that luxury. Mikasa is horrified to hear him say that. She's been defending Eren all along, despite it getting harder and harder to defend his actions. Everyone else agrees with Levi, including Connie and Jean. Connie says that they would be dead if not for the Flying Titan saving them, which I have my doubts about personally. They may have been captured like Armin perhaps, but I can't see Eren killing Mikasa personally. Either way though, Jean agrees with Connie that they have to kill Eren. As a tear appears in Mikasa's eye, Annie tells her to just focus on saving Armin, and not to think about Eren being killed. And Mikasa agrees to this, though clearly bothered. And that's a huge turning point for her. If she can go along with a plan that would kill Eren, she clearly can't be an Ackerman slave programmed to protect Eren at all costs. So ironically, her going along with this plan actually seems to prove that she's not a brainwashed slave, but rather someone who really does care about Eren of her own free will. This is when Gabby points out the centipede-like creature that jumped out of Eren's spine when she shot him using an anti-Titan rifle. And by the way, how crazy is it that they have anti-Titan rifles? But moving on, as Gabby points out, this creature isn't just the founding Titan, it's the true nature of the power of the Titans, and because of that, it makes sense that the one who has it can control and affect all Titans, including the other Titan shifters, who are in reality drawing all of their powers from this creature too. If they manage to kill this creature, my bet, as mentioned, is that all Titan related powers will cease to exist. I love getting more info on this creature, and I can't wait to learn even more about its exact nature as we move towards the end at breakneck speeds. We then get an amazing visual of Falco's Jaw Titan flying overhead. It's very cool to see, and I really appreciate any panels we get showing off this miraculous Titan. As the teams head back, one to attack Eren's nape, the other to save Armin, we jump to the remaining military stronghold where Marleyan soldiers are loading cannons. Even though they probably know it's worthless and won't make a difference, they keep working on it, thinking it's better than doing nothing. It's better than just accepting death without a fight, which would ironically be Eren's view as well. The Eldian refugees show up, including Annie's dad, and they don't have armbands on anymore. This is very symbolic here. They're no longer going to be treated as slaves and discriminated against as lesser beings. And death is the great equalizer. No matter where you come from or how rich or poor you are or anything else, all humans share the fate of having to die eventually. And here, they're facing that equalizer in the form of Eren. They're not going to die wearing the armbands that represented their subjugation. But it's not revenge or a fight they want with the Marleyans, they just want help for their wounded. But then both sides start pointing rifles at each other, even as the end of the world is at hand. For the Marleyans, they're worried because they know how much this group has been mistreated, and that they probably want revenge, and it scares them to see them rising up, especially since they have no more subhuman armbands, and they do have pointed rifles. Annie's dad tries to calm his side down, but with the Marleyans pointing guns at them, and the fact that the Marleyans have sent Eldians to the front lines many times to fight their wars, and the fact that the Eldians finally seem to outnumber the Marleyans in men and firepower, it's going to be hard to defuse the situation. More Marleyans show up, there is fear and panic. The Marleyan leader in this situation, Mueller, shows up and he's got a gun. He previously suggested he change his ways since Marleyan treatment of Eldians brought on Eren's apocalyptic attack in the first place. But now, we'll see if he was being honest or if he's just another hypocrite. Before this standoff gets resolved, we jump to the Titans. But not going to lie, this cliffhanger is very intense for me as well, and I really want to know what's going to happen between these two groups. Is the cycle of hatred going to end as they unite against a common monstrous enemy, or will they end up killing themselves before Eren can even get them with the rumbling? Is the older generation already a lost cause, and will hope have to rest with the younger generation? We'll have to wait and see, but let me know your thoughts in the comments. It was very cool seeing all of these Warhammer Titan designs in this chapter. As the Flying Titan approaches, we see a bunch of Warhammer Titans who all formed long-range weapons like bow and arrows, crossbows, and throwing spears, and they launched them at the Flying Titan. Fun fact, one even reminds me of RoboCop. Falco though can speed up and we see him do it. He goes so fast the others visibly have trouble holding on, so even in his flying form, as I predicted, he has access to the characteristic Jaw Titan speed. Remember, the Jaw Titan is the swiftest of all, and thus it's the best for dodging these long distance attacks. It's very impressive seeing Falco's Titan make its way through the arrows without getting hit. The design definitely seems very aerodynamic. Jean and Reiner go first after the Warhammer Titan that has punctured Peak around where Eren's nape is, and Mikasa actually shows concern for Jean and Reiner while Connie begs them not to die. It's crazy to see Reiner after everything he's done, getting the acceptance now and care of the Survey Corps members. The Marleyan warriors, namely Zeke, turned Connie's mom into a Titan, and now he's begging one of them not to die. There's so much complexity in this one battle when it comes to everyone's backstory and what they've been through and how they relate to each other and whose side they're on now. For Mikasa, there's no doubt that she is torn and she will probably have regrets no matter who comes out the winner in the end. Now we get a good old-fashioned Titan brawl, where Reiner is slicing off the Titan heads of past Titan shifters with his hardened karate chops. Reiner somewhat clears the way for Jean, but as he goes to detonate the bomb, the previously clear path gets filled with more and more Titans emerging from the skeletal body. As the Tiber Sisters version of the Warhammer Titan seems to be distracted by Jean, Peak makes her way out of the cart Titan, showing she's clearly not out of commission. Not even close. In many ways, I'd say Peak shines more than anyone else in this chapter. Although I've tried to make it clear that the cart Titan definitely has its strengths in past videos, people still kind of consider it a joke. And I get why, because even its name makes it seem like a glorified cart that is only good for transporting cargo. However, even before this moment, I stressed its insane speed that caught Levi off guard and thus saved Zeke, its endurance that lets it stay transformed for over 2 months in a row, and its ability to carry weapons, including anti-Titan artillery. All of these things make the cart Titan interesting and useful on their own, but in this chapter, we also get to see Peak using the power in combat to kick butt. Quickly going after Titan napes, it gets the Warhammer Titan and another Titan, and Jean, who sees it, can't help but be impressed. For a second, it starts to seem like it's all over for Peak, like other Titans will finish her off finally, but she uses the focused and controlled steam emission ability that I mentioned in my recent all 20 Titan shifters and their powers explained video, except she uses it to send her human body flying away from her doomed Titan body, and while in the air transforms for a third time, telling Jean, and I quote, "If you think I'm a Titan that's only good for odd jobs and not fighting, you're dead wrong," end quote. This is an epic moment, and she's pretty much speaking to all the doubters and readers who slept on the cart Titan up to this point. She takes out another Titan and launches herself like a missile again to avoid another doomed Titan body, and transforms for the 4th time, taking another Titan out. So she just took out 4 other Titans, and she says with the cart Titan's endurance, so long as they don't kill her, she can fight until they win, even if she has to try hundreds of times, which implies she can do hundreds of transformations, which is insane, since 3 transformations in a row is impressive for most of the other Titan shifters, and the Colossal Titan is even more limited. She might be going a bit overboard in her claim so that Jean won't worry about her and will carry out the mission, but what we saw already is impressive enough to completely change people's perception of how cool the cart Titan can be and how useful it can be in combat specifically. Quickly though, Peak admits to herself that even if she did kill 100, which would be amazing, that wouldn't mean much against 1,000,000 enemies, so she was mostly putting on a brave front as I expected. And Jean is so outnumbered and overpowered that he ends up chilling under the skeletal body, probably wondering how he can possibly complete his mission with all of these past Titan shifters around. They can't kill them as fast as they're showing up. We jump to the other team, and Annie is mad to see Bertolt's Colossal Titan being used as one of Eren and Amir Fritz's Titan puppets. They definitely don't have an easy task ahead of them here. They have to find one Titan that swallowed Armin out of all the Titans present. They wonder if it's a pig one, a beast one, a cart one, or maybe a jaw one. Luckily, Connie notices that only one is running away, so they conclude that it has to be that one. And they say it's an okapi, and that may not be the way it's pronounced, and I had no idea what this animal was, but it turns out to be related to giraffes, but looks like a cross between a deer and a zebra. Never thought that I'd learned so much about the animal kingdom from Attack on Titan. Adding even more humor to the mix, I've already mentioned 3 different animals, and Annie then calls it, and I quote, a pig or whatever it is, end quote. I've never seen an animal that looks like a cross between so many different things. It's pretty fascinating. Connie, Annie, and Mikasa then jump off of the flying titan to catch this titan, and we stick with the flying titan with Levi and Gabby on its back. Like I said before, it's so crazy to me that she actually has an anti-titan rifle, but Levi says that it won't be able to kill any of these titans. Levi still wishes he could kill Zeke, carry out his promise to Erwin, but as he mentions, he'd just be a burden in this state. Crazy to think that we've gotten to the point where even Levi can't do much when he was by far the strongest character at certain points in the story, leaps and bounds ahead of the others, but more and more strong forces and powers kept showing up while he got nerfed thanks to the Beast Titan and that explosion. Levi reminisces about his life, his generation's role, and thinks it might have ended after he got those three, meaning Eren, Mikasa, and Armin, to the sea. But it's haunting Levi because that ended up with this situation, with Eren trampling on the hearts and lives of most of the world. Levi hates to think that all of his comrades died just so this could happen, that they devoted themselves for this hell. And at times like this, even people like Levi have to question if the king within the walls was right when he surrounded humanity with titans and kept them in the walls. In a way, it was a paradise compared to what is happening now that they killed the titans and moved beyond the walls. I don't think any of the conflicting paths that the characters have chosen are obviously 100% the right choice, and that's what makes Attack on Titan a compelling story. People are trying their best to create their versions of a lesser evil, while preventing other people's versions of lesser evils from coming about. Levi thinks their dream of a world without titans was absurdly innocent and idealized, and it had to be for them to devote what they did. Little did they know that a much greater threat was waiting for them after they wiped out the titans on the island. Despite everything, Levi says he doesn't regret picking Armin over Erwin and entrusting the future to the kid who had the same eyes as Erwin, by which he probably means the hopeful eyes of an idealist. Levi is okay with trusting the next generation to come up with a better future, even if he couldn't. And Armin really does have more of an idealized view than Eren, and was always trying to find a way to compromise when Eren thought that a compromise was realistically not an option. He wanted to save the Eldians, but also didn't want to sacrifice the rest of the world to do it. He wanted to stop Eren, but also didn't want to kill him. It's going to be interesting to see in the following chapters what approach the story endorses, if any. Will Armin end up being right, or will the story end up showing that he was naive in his imagined win-win scenarios? I can't wait to find out. As Mikasa, Annie, and Connie try to corner the so-called Pig Titan, it starts running towards Eren's head, and the Titan shifters are really well organized. While Annie launches Mikasa in a very dope maneuver, other Titans block the target so Mikasa can't rescue Armin. On the bright side, this does prove that they are probably after the right Titan. Mikasa makes quick work of the two blocking Titans, but then an armored Titan shows up. Its armor is so strong that it causes Mikasa's blades to break, and then she is saved by Annie's hardened kick. I gotta say, as far as action and fighting go, this has got to be one of the best chapters of Attack on Titan yet. The Titan thereafter goes heading for Bertolt's Titan as the three get more and more surrounded by enemy Titans. The question is there any chance that Bertolt's will can influence that colossal Titan at this point, or as it seems, is it doomed to remain a pure puppet? We shall have to wait and see, because then we jump to Armin looking at himself. He wonders why his body won't move and hates himself for being useless while everyone is about to die. He uses really harsh self-talk here, calling himself a useless idiot and many other things, but to no avail. It's an interesting part from a psychological perspective, as Armin says to himself that he's always hated himself and that he's never done anything but betray himself. Harsh words considering how much Armin has arguably accomplished in the story, but it does seem like we're usually harder on ourselves than we are on others. He thinks he hasn't been able to give anything to others despite being given life, expectations, and responsibilities. He realizes pretty soon that he's in the world of paths. He notices that he is in fact still alive, as I guessed last chapter. I don't think Eren would have killed him, but he is taken out of commission so he can't fight for the time being. Even though he's in this parallel world of paths, he still knows what everyone is doing because all Eldians are connected by this path. He thinks that he might be able to do something from here, an interesting idea, before he sees Zeke building up a hill of sand, just like a child. Zeke looks depressed, like he's given up all hope, and he says it looks like Emir Fritz has eaten Armin too, just like she ate him. And that's the end of this action-packed and insane chapter. As I guessed previously, Eren should be able to use Armin's Colossal Titan now, since he used Zeke's Beast Titan and now Armin is in the same place that Zeke was. I also have to mention that Armin and Zeke, as far as we know, are the most intelligent characters that are still alive in the series. And I'm not just relying on common sense here, I'm relying on the data books as well. Armin was just trying to come up with something he could do in this parallel world, and it's suggested here, at least in my view, that these two will put their insane genius level minds together and come up with a plan. But clearly Zeke will have to be thrown out of his funk first, since he looks like he already gave up on changing anything. But wow, what craziness. We have Eren in possession of the current Founding Titan, Attack Titan, Warhammer Titan, Beast Titan, Colossal Titan, not to mention all past Titan shifters. We got the two smartest characters face to face, possibly going to work together to try to come up with some kind of plan. We got a Flying Titan, peak kicking butt, and a Mikasa and Annie team up. Things could not be more interesting right now, and I can't wait to see what happens in the next chapter. As always, give me your thoughts on this chapter in the comments, and let me know what you expect to see happening next. Do you think Armin and Zeke will be able to do anything from this parallel world, or is it a lost cause? If you did enjoy this chapter review and want to keep them coming, then the best thing you could do is Warhammer, smash that like button, absolutely obliterate it. If you haven't, be sure to subscribe, and this is crucial, hit that notification bell and select all, or you will miss future Attack on Titan videos. And while you wait for the next chapter review to drop, feel free to check out my growing Attack on Titan playlist, where we got videos about all the Titan shifters and their powers, all the Ackermans and their powers, the Titans ranked from weakest to strongest, and a lot more very interesting videos, so link to those are in the description. And I especially want to thank the Patron Squad over on Patreon and here on YouTube who help make videos like this one possible. First and foremost, I want to thank the Patron of Legend, the one acknowledged by Lord Twigo himself, and the most donated champion of the world, Alpha Sigma. And are the 1-tier patrons, the ones who stand atop all clans, Ingrata, The World, Acquire Respect, Pate Hefa Rithian, Emperor Otaku, Spidey Life Tanel, Baked Buddhist, and Tungsten Tarkus. And our Pro Hero tier patrons, the one and only Gilgamesh, Steelers, Angel Cruz, Anatoly Kazatsky, Joe Stanton, Very Gucci, Jessica Kayla Fond, Rithuan Deora, Alicia Actor, Bonnie Parks, Hinokami and Water, The Red-Haired Raven, Florian, Joanne Garcia, Jack Watches Anime, Fatboy Games, Deadly Saint, Matthew Cruz, Anthony Schreiber, Hijinks, and Mr. Waffles. Thank you all so much. If you do enjoy our work, you can support more of it by going over to patreon.com/AnimeUproar and becoming a patron today for as little as $1. If you do so, you'll get your name featured in future videos alongside these amazing people right here, and you'll even get access to our private patron-only Discord where we talk about anime life and of course dank memes. So check out patreon.com/AnimeUproar, link in the description if you're interested. You can also join the YouTube channel by clicking that blue join button next to the subscribe button that you've hopefully already destroyed. So yeah, you can support more content that way if you prefer. Whichever way you choose to support us, you can get the same great benefits. Thanks again, and until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys.